Dozens of Russian military aircraft have crashed during the full-scale war without the direct involvement of the armed forces of Ukraine. Russia's strategic bombers, fighters, and military transport aircraft, all of them periodically appear in such eternal flight reports. Unfortunately, one of the navigators of the Tu-22M3 died in the eternal flight aviation accident. Technical malfunctions, breakdowns, and crew errors, the causes of crashes of Russian military aircraft vary. So let's figure out together why each sortie of Russian bombers and fighters could potentially be their last. The most recent example of a Russian eternal flight is the crash of a Tu-22M3 strategic bomber in the Irkutsk region. Despite the crew members ejecting, one of the pilots died. According to the Russian Ministry of Defense, the aircraft was on a scheduled flight. The crash occurred in an uninhabited area. The cause of the accident was identified as a technical malfunction. In the same Irkutsk region, 8 months earlier, in August 2024, near Mikhailovka, another Tu-22 crashed, for similarly classified reasons. At that time, one pilot also died. Classifying the cause of the crash is a principle that Russia has been using for over 15 years.
Since 2010, no technical details have been provided, just that it crashed due to technical reasons, with no further details disclosed.
The Tu-22M3 is a strategic bomber capable of carrying nuclear weapons. It primarily uses the Kh-22 anti-ship hypersonic cruise missiles, which were developed during the Soviet era to destroy American aircraft carriers.
It is a heavy, long-range bomber with a crew of 4 featuring variable sweep wings capable of carrying only one type of missile, the Kh-22 missiles and their upgraded version, the Kh-32 missiles. That's it, no other options. In terms of its armament, this aircraft is long outdated.
It was precisely these anti-ship bombers and missiles that Russia used for some of the bloodiest raids on Ukraine. On June 27, 2022, during the strike on the shopping center in Kremlin, which resulted in the death of 22 people. And also during the strike on the multi-story building in Dnipro on January 14, 2023. As a result of the strike, 46 people were killed and another 75 were injured. While at the time of its development, the Tu-22 was one of the most classified aviation projects of the USSR during the Cold War. And at the time of its creation, it was the most complex and expensive aircraft in the USSR, now almost 50 years after it began service. Experts believe this bomber is morally outdated.
This type has practically not been modernized in recent years. 2 aircraft were modernized to the Tu-22M3M variant. That's it. But the process didn't go further because everything needs to be changed on it, and by its characteristics, the machine is clearly outdated. And almost everything needs to be changed. All the equipment, the weapon system needs to be changed. They tried to convert them for Kinzhal missiles and gave up because it made no sense.
The reasons for the crash of such bombers can vary greatly, ranging from a simple crew member error, an engine technical malfunction, to an error during refueling. The aircraft.
The reasons might be related to the fuel. We have been actively striking Russian oil refineries. And both the MiG-31 and the Tu-22M3 operate only on special types of fuel, RT or T8V. This is fuel for supersonic aircraft. And for example, if at some intermediate airfield, they accidentally filled it with standard TS1 fuel, then it can fly from there, from some intermediate airfield to the base on this fuel. But after that, the engine needs to be replaced.
Despite all this, the strategic bomber Tu-22 is far from being the most accident-prone military aircraft in Russia, and the MiG-31 confidently holds the lead in this peculiar competition. Aviation accidents for MiGs, in a sense, are commonplace.
Overall, Russia has lost a total of 5 such aircraft units in accidents and crashes from April 2022 to July 4, 2023. Moreover, a total of 3 crew members have died. So, it is quite an accident-prone machine. To date, 1 out of every 10 produced aircraft units has been lost, a total of 10%, with 50 planes destroyed, out of the 519 produced. and they crashed at an average rate of 1 to 2 aircraft per year.
The serial production of MiG-31 type aircraft was completed back in 1994. This is a Soviet-Russian two-seat, long-range interceptor fighter. They became a modernized version of the Soviet single-seat fighter from the 1970s, the MiG-25. The MiG-31 was the first Soviet fourth-generation fighter, a sort of response to the American F-16 and the French Mirage 2000. Initially, the MiG-31 was intended for intercepting cruise missiles and other complex aerial targets. In the early 2010s, there was a discussion in Russia about discontinuing the MiG-31, but it was decided to keep the aircraft as a modernized interceptor and also as a carrier for the Kinjal missiles. In fact, the updated version of the fighter performs the function of the first stage of a missile. It accelerates, gains high altitude, and then launches. Interestingly, it was against the backdrop of regular MiG-31 accidents that the Russian leadership decided, in the early 2010s, to further classify the causes of the crashes.
The reasons are varied. The most common cause is engine fires, but that was before 2010. And since 2010, no technical details have been disclosed. The engines are quite prone to accidents. And the situation with the MiG-31 type is further complicated by the fact that the aircraft continues to fly. But its production was stopped long ago, and the production of engines for it ceased in 2004.
Essentially, all modernization and maintenance of these fighters today rely on pre-manufactured engines and aviation cannibalism. The operational MiGs are fitted with parts and components from decommissioned aircraft stored in warehouses and hangars.
Since production has ceased, they made a rather large stockpile. They left about 1,500 engines just in storage, and somewhere between 130 to 150 aircraft in storage. Yet they use the engines by simply replacing them, and the aircraft are either used as donors for spare parts or they try to restore them, for example, converting them into MiG-31KT carriers of air ballistic missiles.
In addition to MiGs and Tushkas, experts highlight another type of Russian aircraft prone to aviation accidents, the An military transport. These aircraft aid logistics for Russia. The need for urgent delivery of ammunition, weapons, personnel, and spare parts is always met by Antonov-manufactured aircraft. And we are talking about several hundred aircraft in service with Russia.
Russian aircraft, especially transport aviation, were based on Antonov aircraft with the Antonov Design Bureau located in Ukraine, in Kyiv. For all Antonov aircraft, Russians have serious problems because they lack qualified inspections of these aircraft, meaning checks of systems, obtaining let's say, a qualified airworthiness certificate for the aircraft, and qualified inspection and repair of engines.
That's all. Don't forget to write in the comments about which types of weapons you would like to learn more about. Give this video a like, and of course, subscribe to our new Arsenal channel. The link is in the description below the video.